a real-life application of algebra is when we're given worded problems, that is, problems that are given to us in words, which we then need to turn into an equation which we are able to solve. So, for example, a number is multiplied by 6 and 7 is subtracted from that product. And the answer is 23. What is the number? Well, we don't know what the number is, so let's call it x. Let the unknown number be x. So let's just write x. What are we doing to x? It is multiplied by 6, so multiply it by 6. And 7 is subtracted from that product. So subtract 7, and the answer is 23. So we've got x multiplied by 6 minus 7. Well, x multiplied by 6 is 6x minus 7. The answer is 23. You should now be able to solve for x using the skills you've learned for solving equations in this lecture. So we're going to undo minus 7 by adding 7 to both sides of the equation. So we're left with 6x on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we've got 30. So now dividing both sides by 6, sixes will cancel out on the left-hand side, so we'll have x is equal to 5. Of course, we can do our check. If we take 5, we multiply it by 6 and subtract 7 from it, that's going to be 30 minus 7, and the answer is 23. So our answer of x is equal to 5 must be correct. Let's have a look at the next one. The sum of two consecutive numbers is 37. So that means if we add these two consecutive numbers, we'll get to 37. What are the numbers? Well, we're going to let the first number be n. What's the next number? What's the number after n? If it's consecutive, it's 1 more than n, so it's going to be n plus 1. If the numbers are consecutive, then the second number is always 1 more than the number before it. So now we've got the two numbers. They are n and n plus 1. And we've been told that the sum of those two numbers is 37. So if we want to find the sum of the two numbers, that means we need to add them. So it'll be n plus 1. That's the first number, that's the second number, is equal to 37. So n plus n is 2n plus the 1 is equal to 37. So now solving for n by undoing the plus 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides of the equation. So we're left with 2n on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side 37, take away 1 is 36. So now to find n, it's 2n divided by 2 equals 36 divided by 2. That's going to give us n is equal to 18. So we're told the first number is equal to 18. So the second number is n plus 1. So n plus 1 must be 19. Now they're two consecutive numbers. We can do our check. 18 plus 19. We add the two numbers, we do get 37. So our answer of 18 and 19 must be correct. And our last problem for today is this one. I'll give myself plenty of room to do it. Shane swam a total of 90 laps in 4 hours. In each hour, he swims 5 less laps than in the previous hour. How many laps did he swim in the first and the last hours? Okay, so let's have another look at it. Shane swam a total of 90 laps in 4 hours. In each hour, he swims 5 less than in the previous hour. So, now we've got to decide what x is. It's an unknown. Let x equal the number of laps Shane swam in the first hour. After all, that's one of the things we're asked, isn't it? How many laps did he swim in the first hour? So we're saying it's x. Okay, so let's now make a table. We know he swims for 4 hours. So there's the first hour, the second hour, the third hour, the fourth hour. We know that in the first hour he swam x laps. And in the next hour it was 5 less laps than in the previous hour, so that must be x minus 5. And in the third hour it was another 5 less, so that must be x minus 10 laps. And in the last hour, another 5 less, so x minus 15. So our black column, remember, is the number of laps. Now when we add all of those up, all of those laps, we're told, or been told, that it was a total of 90 laps. So let's add them all together. We've got x plus x minus 5 plus x minus 10 plus x minus 15, and that's equal to 90. That's our equation. X plus x plus x plus another x is 4 times x, so 4x, and then we've got negative 5 and negative 10 is negative 15, and then add negative 15 is negative 30. So 4x minus 30 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side is 90. So now we can solve for x, and remember that x is the number of laps that Shane swam in the first hour. So undo the minus 30 by adding 30 to both sides of the equation. Negative 30 plus 30 disappears on the left hand side, so we've got 4x equals 120. So now to find x, let's divide both sides by 4. So 120 over 4, x is equal to 30 laps. So if x is equal to 30 laps, so x was 30, what's x minus 5? X minus 5 must be equal to 25, and then x minus 10 will be equal to 20, and x minus 15 will be equal to 15. If we add all of those up as a check, that will give us 90, as it should. So therefore this answer we got of x is equal to 30 laps is correct. Now be very careful with these questions, because you really need to go back and see what it's asking you. We've found x, the unknown, but the question says, how many laps did he swim in the first hour? Well, that was 30 laps. And how many in the last hour? Well, that was 15. So that means we need to write the answer in words, because the question was given to us in words. So we'll need to write Shane swam 30 laps in the first hour and 15 laps in the last hour. Well, that's the end of our lecture for today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week when we have a look at formulas.